first want to say thank you everyone for who's on the call. The date for today of November 4th, we're excited because we have a wonderful Wisconsin employer on today, American Family Insurance. The host campus for today is the University of Wisconsin-Madison. I am Courtney Pearson. I'll be your moderator today. I work at UW-Madison as a career advisor within the School of Education Career Center. Before we get started, I do want to take a moment to give thanks that we have a wonderful tech support in the form of Haley Carr from UW Superior. She's been an absolute rock star, and it's all thanks to her. Well, a big part, because I do have to give props to our entire UW system planning committee. We've all been in the trenches for months now, putting together this fabulous virtual career track series for you all. For the entire UW system. So I think this has been a monumental effort from everyone, and we're having fabulous results. So thank you everyone who is involved. Like I said, we're going to have American Family Insurance today, and we actually have on the call Christy Porterfield, who has a fabulous presentation, and she's got an interesting background. So I think she's going to have wonderful things to say, not only about the company, but great pieces of advice, frankly, that you all could take away from today. I do want to make mention that for those students who are on the call, we would really appreciate it if you would fill out this registration form. Let me put the URL in the chat box. So please, before you log off today's track, that you fill it out. So I just put the URL to the form in the chat box. So like I said, before you log off today, please fill it out. We'd greatly appreciate it. Before I pass it over to Christy, I just want to do a shout out to next week. We will be having the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, who will be working, or rather featuring, Northwestern Mutual. So that is next week. But for today, American Family Insurance. And remember, the chat is open to you all. So if you have any questions throughout for Christy, please make sure you put them in the chat box. So without further ado, I'll turn it over to Christy.
Thank you, Courtney. I want to thank you, Courtney, as well as Haley, for putting this together and just allowing employers to come in and share this information with the students. It's definitely an added bonus for us to be able to really talk to students more one-on-one, as one-on-one as we can be in a virtual environment. So thank you. I really appreciate that. And I'm excited to share this information with you all today because I think, as Courtney said, I do have an interesting and unique experience with insurance, and I have had a few different roles in the insurance industry. So I'm excited to share those with you and give you information that will hopefully help you see insurance in a different light. So I will move on here. All right, so first off, my name is Christy Porterfield. I am a talent acquisition specialist specifically on our campus recruitment and university relations team. My email address is there, and I want to let you know that I absolutely encourage you to email me if you do have questions that maybe you think of after this presentation and didn't get a chance to ask, or something comes up after you've thought about it for a few days. So don't hesitate to send me an email. I also always accept LinkedIn requests. I don't know my LinkedIn email per se, but I think I'm one of 2 or 3 Christies on LinkedIn, and I'm unfortunately not the doctor that you'll find. So just so you know that. But I want to tell you a little bit about myself. So I've been a student. I was a student and received a Bachelor of Science in Social Work from Northern Michigan University, way up in Marquette, Michigan, in 1994. And I'm proud of my 1994. At first, I thought I'm not going to put my date in there, but it's okay. But I want to let you know that I'm back in school. So I'm in the same situation that you are. I try to juggle my schoolwork with my real work, and I've been doing that for a couple different, a couple years now. I think I took a couple semesters off here and there, but I am slated to graduate with my applied workplace leadership degree the day after I turn 50. So that would be in May of 2021. So something I'm really proud of. And what I want to kind of stress to you, and I'll talk a little bit about this further, is I took advantage of a really cool benefit that our company offers, and that is tuition reimbursement. And, I pay for my classes up front. I do the work, I get the grade, and then I submit everything to my employer and they reimburse me. So when this is done, I virtually, well, literally, will have paid zero to get this degree. And so I just want to tell you that when you are thinking about careers, there's so much in a benefit package that you might not be thinking about. But tuition reimbursement for me has been a huge, huge benefit. And one other benefit that we just started a year ago at American Family that I think will really appeal to you all is a tuition loan repayment program. And what that is 6 months or so after you graduate, they find you no matter where you are. They will find you and they're going to send you that invoice and you're going to say, oh my goodness, I have 80 to 100K that I owe, for this wonderful piece of paper that I have. What's really interesting about American Family is that we added this benefit where we will match your monthly loan repayment up to $100 per month. So if you're going to pay 100, we're going to match that at 100. If you pay $50 a month, God bless you, we will pay $50 a month. So in reality, it doesn't seem like much, but we will continue matching that up to $10,000. So that's $10,000 that we're going to give um, those companies to pay for your degree. So something to think about. Another benefit that I would tell you to keep your eye out for when you're looking for careers. All right. So I want you to know that you belong here. And what I mean by that is we offer so many different opportunities. And I see Ellie Rogolinsky on the phone. And I know that Ellie attended our You Belong Here event recently, and I've had a chance to talk with her one-on-one. So I've changed this presentation up a bit, Ellie, so you won't see all the same things. But we offer internships, co-ops, full-time opportunities, and specific full-time opportunities for college graduates, new college graduates. So I just wanted to go over the agenda here with you. I'm going to talk with you about American Families operating companies. You may have noticed on the first slide that I listed us as American Family Enterprise rather than just American Family Insurance. And I'll explain to you what that means to be an enterprise. I also want to talk to you a little bit more about what is insurance and what it's not. I also want to share with you what our response has been to customers during the time of COVID-19. I think it's really relevant for you to know how we've given back to customers, and maybe you're a customer or a family member's a customer that we've been able to help throughout this process. I also want to tell you what our response was and has been and will be to interns and having internships at American Family. And also a little bit about my experience, and then I'll leave it to you to ask any questions. All right, so American Family, as I said, operates as an enterprise, and a lot of people don't know this. A lot of people think of us as, hey, American Family Insurance. I see their name all over campus. I see their name, maybe all over the state even. But We actually own several other companies, and some of them are other insurance companies, and we specifically recruit for each other. So applying to a role at American Family Insurance could mean that your information could be shared with the general for openings that they might have with Homesite and with Connect. So I'm going to explain to you what these different companies are. Madison, Wisconsin is the national headquarters for American Family, but the General is headquartered in Nashville, Tennessee. And the General, you've probably seen those commercials with Snoop. There's a little general character. He's usually doing something, kind of interesting and fun with Snoop or Shaq. So they are a company that we own. We also own a company called Homesite, and they're based out of Boston. We own a company called Home Gauge, which isn't an insurance company, but they are a company that we utilize for homeowners claims. We were using them so much that we decided to purchase that company, and they're based in Asheville, North Carolina. We also own Networked Insights. They're a specific data analytics company that, again, we'd been using quite a bit. They're based in Chicago. We also decided to acquire them. In addition, we have partnered with Main Street America. So they're not a company that we own, but they follow a lot of the same processes and procedures, culture, beliefs that we do at American Family. And they're based in Jacksonville, Florida. And then finally, we own a company that we have renamed Connect. And we just purchased them last October. So they're a newer company for us. We just changed their name. You may have known them in the past as Ameriprise Auto and Property. So Ameriprise still exists in their financial planning area, but we purchased the property and auto portion of that company. We renamed them Connect, and they're up in the De Pere, Wisconsin area. So just a little bit of fun facts for you about American Family Enterprise. We are a Fortune 300 company. We are the ninth largest private auto insurer in the US, and we're the seventh largest homeowners insurer in the US. We are an exclusive agency, and what that means is our agents only sell American Family products. Um, and they're also independent owners. So an agent does not work for American Family. They really are their own boss, I should say. But they interact with the company quite a bit. We'll help them build up their customer base, their book, we call it. They also will be working with us on, marketing materials, different things like that. But just wanted to let you know that somebody who works at an agency is not necessarily an American Family employee. So there's some other fun information there. As of late, we have 13,466 employees, and that is across the enterprise. So we're not all sitting in the office at national headquarters. In fact, nobody's sitting in the office at national headquarters right now, really. I actually went in yesterday, and I needed to get a few things off my desk. So there was nobody there, and we are not anticipating going back, as our president and CEO have stated, until there's a vaccine or at least a proven treatment. So, all right. So I want you to know about how we responded to COVID in terms of our interns. And you may be one of those people who got, the text, the email saying, hey, guess what? We're not having an internship. Sorry. And American Family realizes that you get an internship not just to fill your time over the summer. You're getting your internship for one, obviously, to learn about what it's like to practice what you've been learning in the classroom, but you're also saving money for your next semester, for your next year of school, and we know this. And so the decision was made pretty quickly that no, we are not canceling internships, but how are we going to have our internships? And so I'm really proud of the fact that there's a great group of people who worked behind the scenes to move everything to a virtual environment. They made it look very seamless to you and me, although I know there was probably a lot of sleepless nights for this group of people, but so very grateful, and I'm really proud to tell you that not only do we have internships, but we increased the number of internships. So we had about 185 internships across the enterprise just a few months ago. And some of those interns, I will be very honest, there are people that turned me down when I made the offer to them, and they said, you know what, I have another offer. I'm going to go with this other company. Couple weeks after COVID, kind of came to America, I got calls from people saying, I'm really sorry. I turned down your offer, but now this offer that I had is gone. Is there anything you can do for me? And we absolutely did. We created spaces. We didn't hesitate. We also got a call from Stanford University, and they said, we've heard a lot about American Family. We heard that you're still having internships. We've got a group of about 10 students that they need an internship. Can you help us? And we found internships across the enterprise for every single one. So I say pivot, pivot, pivot on this slide because that's our favorite word at American Family. And it's something that we do on a routine basis and something that you can expect if you work for us. Um, there's never a wall that we can't turn from and go in another direction. So I guess what I'm trying to say is nothing really stops us. It maybe causes us to pause for a moment, but we always are able to pivot and go in a new direction. And as I said, the show did go on. We have utilized Zoom, Teams, Skype, whatever platform is available to us. We also were featured in a Wall Street Journal article specifically about those handful of companies that still were offering internships. So I do have that link here if you want to take a screenshot or write it down. If you are interested in reading that, but they did interview Kat Kriska, who was one of our interns this past summer. All right, so I also want you to know how we responded to our customers. And we realized that, just making a statement that, gosh, we're really sorry about these hard times wasn't going to be enough. So we knew that our actions needed to speak louder than words. So these are a couple things that we did. Connect was able to provide a premium credit of 15% per auto for 3 months. And they also were able to extend that. Employees, so people like myself, as well as those agencies owners that, again, I said are not really American Family employees, donated $250,000 in response to COVID-19. And so, that's great, right? We all came together as employees to do something like this, but it was matched by the company. So that was a total of $750,000 that were given to communities in need during this time. There's also a annual fundraiser that, being here in the state, you may have heard of. It's the Steve Stricker American Family Insurance Foundation. And so every summer there's a giant golf tournament that takes place in the state. And a lot of nonprofits and other companies or services that are provided maybe free to people in the state are relying on those donations that we make from these these profits. So at first there was panic. Obviously we couldn't have this event. What are we going to say to these people? Well, it didn't phase us. We were still able to provide over $4 million in support, and in addition, that pushed the total support to 6.8 million that we've been able to donate so far from the Steve Stricker Foundation. So just wanted you to know about some of the things that we do um, that I think are maybe exceptional and unique to American Family. All right, so um, I know there's probably people on the call, just like myself, who, when you first heard about insurance, you thought, ugh, I don't want to sell. I don't think that's for me. And when I go to career fairs, when I used to go, back in the day when we saw each other face to face, I used to have people come to the table and, they kind of were hesitating. And I'd say, come talk to me. And they'd say, oh, that's not for me. I'm not a seller. I'm not that person. And I always said, oh gosh, me neither. That's not what I do for the company. So obviously there are people that love sales, and that's something that we can offer you. But there are all of these other areas of the company that I want to make you aware of. Business and workplace services. what in the world is that? So I gave you some examples here. Real estate management. We are in 19 different states as American Family Insurance. And with the addition of those other companies, we're in virtually every state. So some of those buildings we own, some of those buildings we rent, some we're scoping out, to see, do we want to move to a different building? Are we outgrowing where we are? So we have a real estate management team. We also have a construction management team. So those are people who are looking at, how are our buildings being constructed? Are we thinking about the environment and sustainability when we're looking at a new location? You may have heard that before the pandemic, we actually were really trying to establish our footprint in Milwaukee, and we purchased a building in Milwaukee, an old building, I think maybe about 5 floors. And the idea was that we've got to remodel this building and be mindful of the environment and sustainability. How many people are going to be there? How do we want it to function? And so that's where construction management would come into play. We do have claims, but what I wanted to point out here is that we might have commercial farm and ranch claims because we do cover farms and ranches. We may have personal lines claims, which would cover things like your auto or your home. We may have commercial lines claims, that would be commercial buildings. So lots of different areas where claims can fall into. We've got communications, whether that be written, verbal, internal, external. That is always a very popular area. We receive a lot of interest for internships in this area. We do get those interns who are involved in this department involved in that Steve Stricker golf tournament. And so, I mean, communications can be, things like digital marketing. It can be things like social media. It can be things like writing articles or news bites, for the public. So lots of fun things that can be included in that. We have a department also that's called community investments, and I'm going to talk to you more about that later. But community investments is exactly what it sounds like. We are investing in our community, and so this would include things like venture analytics, your finance majors, your econ majors. We've got corporate legal. Obviously, those are going to be your JDs, your grads. I'm sorry, law school graduates. But we also have corporate. So we have corporate legal. Those are people who would represent us if perhaps we were, being sued. They might be looking at contracts and, making sure that those are uh, adhering to specific guidelines. But we also have a company that we call our life company. So we sell life insurance as well, and we have legal students do their internships in that area as well. That would definitely be more of your contract type work. So if there's any pre-law people on the phone that are interested in not just a litigation type situation, that might be where you want to be in the life company. So I'm not going to go through every one of these, but I just wanted to show you um, a sample of what's available to you. And I know this isn't all encompassing, but as you can see, things like risk management, when somebody applies for a insurance policy, you get your first car, you've got to do your application, and risk management is going to look at your prior motor vehicle history. They're going to look at, the age of the vehicle and, that type of thing. Same with when you apply for a homeowner's policy or a renter's policy. Some of the things they'll look at are, how far away is the closest fire department? How far away the closest town? How long would it take for someone to get to you if there was an emergency? So those are things they consider. Um, Again, you're still going to see your finance, your human resources, marketing. Another thing I wanted to point out is that we have a pretty robust protective services department. So, we even have availability for those criminal justice majors. I really can't think of many backgrounds that we would not have an opportunity for. And someone said to me once, "Well, what about medical?" Yeah, we actually have what's called medical service specialists. Those would be found in our claims department, and those are nurses, people that have nursing degrees that are looking at files where somebody was injured in an accident. They are the people who can tell us, does this treatment make sense for what happened to this person? Is this related to the accident? Was this a prior injury? So just really interesting things that you'd be surprised that we have. But protective services, we have people who, walk around the building all the time, and just make sure that, everything is kosher. We've got people who will, drive our president and CEO to and from. So there's protective services in a lot of different areas as well. So I will move on because now I'm going to tell you about some pretty non-traditional areas of our company, that I really think make us unique. All right, so we have something called Inclusive Excellence, the Institute, Dream Bank, and the Milwaukee Initiative. I did touch base a little bit on the Milwaukee Initiative. What that is an opportunity for us to bring our community giving to the greater Milwaukee area. So what we're looking for is to build relationships and partnerships with those nonprofit agencies. How do we encourage interest in college career development at a young age? Um, we're forming partnerships with colleges and universities, but it actually goes right down to the neighborhood level. And are there certain um, you know, neighborhoods in the Milwaukee area that need our assistance, and that's where we want to be. So that's a lot of what the Milwaukee Initiative is about. Dream Bank is something that you hopefully have had a chance to go to prior to COVID-19, but it used to be located on the square in Madison, in downtown Madison. Now it's located on East Washington, and it's actually right around the corner from the Sylvie. And this is our gift to the community. This is a free facility offering free courses to the public. You can go into the Dream Bank at any time. You can sit down and do your studying. It's a beautiful building. It's a quiet, beautiful atmosphere, and they offer free classes, as I said, to the community. So anything that you can think of, exercise classes, financial planning classes, you know, um, gosh, yoga. I'm trying to think of the different things that I've seen, but definitely go online if you get a chance and look at some of those offerings. They are all virtually at this point, but the Dream Bank is really our gift back to the community. The Institute. So I know this sounds really ominous, and every time I say it, I have to tell people, like, it's not what you think. Like, we're not locking people up, and you have to work 24 hours a day. The Institute is probably one of the coolest things that we offer at American Family, and this is an area where we house our social impact team. This is where we would have our community giving team, our corporate social responsibility. Um, and then inclusive excellence is truly where we are celebrating diversity. So we have a specific inclusive excellence team that not only makes sure that we are mindful of attracting diverse uh, people to our company, but once they're here, how do we include their voices and their experiences in our products and how we respond to our customers? So I'm going to move on to the next to show you some examples of what these different areas do. All right. So inclusive excellence. These are some awards that we've won, and we're very happy and humble to receive these awards, but that's not what it's about. Obviously you can see here, in 2020, one of the best places to work for the LGBTQ equality, one of the top 50 places to work for diversity. We were also recognized by Forbes, and those are all fantastic things, but we are not approaching diversity as a response to what has happened in the last few months. This effort has been ongoing with American Family for years. What the recent social injustice, type situations that we've seen have done for us is just help us understand that we're not done. And I think it was kind of a reset. Are we doing enough? So we've always been very vocal and very intentional in this area, but I think it really helps to bring our the voices of those who are underrepresented back to the surface, and really encourage conversations among us as employees. So I'm very grateful for that. And then the institute. These are some pretty amazing people that we have here in the picture. These are social impact investments. So some people ask me sometimes, well, what does your company do with these, profits that you're making? Obviously, you're making a profit because not everybody's filing a claim. This is what we do with that profit. We are investing in startup companies that are specifically either owned by women or other underrepresented groups. Can't just be any startup company. It's got to be a startup company that is related to things like education reform, criminal reform, racial injustice, things like sustainability and the environment. So those are the areas that we are really looking to impact. And I got some great information today, and I do want to share that with you. But some of the things that we've been able to do at the Institute are, economic opportunity for all is really what we're looking to solve. We're also looking to tackle healthy youth development, learning and academic achievement, and resilient communities. So I don't I've never heard of other companies doing this, let alone an insurance company. And so I'm really very proud of that. I'm also very proud of this top right picture here that you're going to see. This is our Dreams Foundation. And our Dreams Foundation is another way that we give back to the community through volunteering. Um, and another thing that that I just think makes us a little different from other insurance companies. These are all employees. This picture, here I can see the one on the left here. That's Jack Salzwedel. He is our CEO. So these are real people that take time out of their day. We actually are provided 8 hours of volunteer time, every single employee, to get out and volunteer. And a lot of times we do those things as a group, which I think is pretty cool. And then again, you'll see the Milwaukee vision that I explained to you. One other area that I wanted to tell you about, and I'll kind of direct you to where you can get more information, that would be our sustainability team. So sustainability is not something that we just decided to tackle this year. It is, though, this year that we came out with our 5-year plan. So if you go on our website to amfam.com, you will see at the top of the page something called Making a Difference, and you can click there and you can read about our sustainability plan. But we have a sustainability team, we have sustainability internships. So again, an area that I don't think exists at insurance carriers usually. So quickly, just wanted to tell you a little bit about my career experience. And I got a degree in social work. So you're probably wondering, how in the world did I get into insurance? But I can tell you that a social work, psychology, sociology background has been so helpful to me in all of the different areas you'll see here. So I started out my career in insurance a long time ago in the claims call center. And I was basically taking phone calls from people who had been in accidents. Some of them are on the side of the road and they're really upset. And the background I had in social work was super helpful to be able to provide a calming a voice and help those people. So I did that for probably about 6 months or so, and then became a claims adjuster. And that's when you're the person who's actually investigating the claim. It did require probably even more patience and resilience and high level of customer service than the previous position. But again, having that degree, I think, was super helpful in that area. I was kind of, after 4 years of doing that, deciding, okay, what do I want to do? I can't quite see myself doing this forever. So I was able to get an opportunity in the underwriting department, completely different from working with claims. Really very little to no interaction with the public. It was really reports. So, somebody applying for a policy, and I've got to run all these reports and help determine whether or not we're going to offer them that policy. I realized after about a year wasn't quite the direction that I wanted to go. I'm a people person, and I wanted to continue in that direction. And I knew somebody in human resources who loved it, so I had the opportunity again within the insurance company to get an entry level job in human resources. Um, Loved it, did it for about a year and a half as a generalist, and realized my passion was for recruiting. And now I've been a recruiter for, I guess, probably about 9 years or so. Um, but I wanted you to know that all of these different positions were within insurance. I didn't have to leave and come back. I didn't have to take a pay cut. I didn't have to start over with PTO at another company. I didn't have to, kind of work my way up again. So this is just an example of how your path can look in the insurance industry. It's never a straight path. I can tell you that. It goes in all sorts of directions. My manager, when I was first hired at American Family, came from IT. He was an IT guy. Um, for years, probably about 20 years, and they didn't have a recruiting department. They did their own recruiting. Well, they decided to create a recruiting department, and who better to recruit than somebody who's done the job and had some experience. So he's been a recruiting manager now for probably the last 15 years. And you're doing the math right. We've got people at our company have been there for upwards of 30 years, not because they've been stuck in one position, but because they've been given all of these opportunities. So, all right. So I have said a whole lot, and hopefully you found something that interests you. But I want to leave it to you to ask any questions.
Thanks, Christy. That was fabulous.
Thank you.
So we do have a number of questions in the chat. But before I read them off, I just want to remind everyone that please, if you have any questions, put them in the chat and we can get Christy's perspective. So my first question for you is, how many positions exist in marketing across the entire American Family enterprise? And where do those marketing positions physically sit? Madison, Wisconsin, or any other locations?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And traditional marketing, our actual enterprise marketing department is at American Family's national headquarters in Madison. However, we do have marketing roles that would fall into many other areas. So marketing, social media type roles. So for instance, human resources has their own social media presence. I know that that's the same for the life insurance company. Our agencies will hire marketing specialists specifically within their agencies. So I don't know the number. What I can tell you is that it's a lot. And we generally hire at least 9 marketing interns specifically in that enterprise marketing area every summer. And our internships are meant to be a pipeline to full-time employment. And I know that believe they were going to make offers to 7 out of those 9 students from this past summer. And they're looking to add 7 to 9 more interns for next summer. So there's a lot of positions that it might not appear that it would require a marketing background. So I always encourage people to read the job description, because you'd be surprised at how many different job titles we have that would welcome a marketing background.
All right, next question.
Mm-hmm.
Are there opportunities for interns in areas other than inclusive excellence to get involved with diversity initiatives at American Family?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say, I know this past summer and then going into summer 2021, that would be useful in our Milwaukee initiative area. They are looking for one intern. Obviously, there's going to be specific inclusive excellence internships as well, but I would even say areas of human resources are going to have that that touch of diversity and inclusion. So I would say those would be the three top areas that I would point out to you. We do also have an internship available in social impact. And that is an area where it would be our educational reform area. But when I talked with that hiring manager, she was very open to people who are just people that are concerned about the community itself and really want to build healthy communities. So that would be another area that there will be a very big focus on diversity and inclusion. And I'm assuming you're talking about internships, but if you aren't and you're talking about full-time employment, I haven't looked recently on what our full-time opportunities are, but if you're graduating in December, I would definitely start looking now at our job board. And if you're graduating in the spring, say May, I would start looking at probably the end of March. We generally like to fill our full-time positions within 30 to 60 days, which is why I'm suggesting that time frame, because if you applied for something you saw today, but you're not graduating until the spring, you know, they probably aren't going to consider your application. So.
All right, we have another question. This one is, what are some current issues or trends in the insurance field that we should be made aware of?
That's a great question. Um, you know, for us, we are really doing a lot with AI and machine learning. Something that we, you know, started looking at probably a couple years ago and now have actually formed a very talented team. And so we are always looking at better ways that we can provide customer service. I don't know if this is something that would be across the industry, but definitely for American Family, we're looking at ways just to streamline your experience when you're calling just to ask a simple question, or you know, you want to know how to fill something out. We want to be able to provide you a quick, accurate experience. So we're doing a lot with AI and machine learning right now. And you know, what I can say about American Family is we we are an insurance carrier, but I like to kind of joke that that's just our side job, because what we really are is a technology and entrepreneurial company. Those are the things that we really do that stand out above the other competitors. So technology, like I said, I think that that's the way that we're going with insurance within our company.
All right, Christy, we have a couple of questions about, in particular, MBA
Yeah.
students and whether American Family hires or has hired MBA grads in the past.
Yes, absolutely. That's a great question. So a lot of our internships are looking for somebody who's between that first and second year of your MBA program. We absolutely hire MBA students. Again, those internships are a stepping stone and a pipeline to full-time opportunities. But I just was told a couple days ago that we have a new I don't want to say early career program, because we are looking for somebody with a little bit of experience, but what it is a specific hiring initiative where we would be looking for MBA students who have at least 3 years of work experience, and we'd like to hire you into a leadership development role. The goal of this program is that these new hires will be with us for 2 years, and when they're done with the program, they will be eligible for director level roles. So this is truly an investment into our future leadership. We do have permission at this point to hire 10 people. And what I think is really cool is that we're going to hire 5 people from within our company. And so this is going to be you know, a upward mobility opportunity for our current employees, but we're also going to hire 5 MBA people from outside the company. So this is brand new. and it hasn't been advertised yet. And I'm only telling you because I got the green light to do so, that it has been approved. So they're working on a job description as we speak.
That is exciting.
Yes.
So I have a question here. Does American Family Insurance Enterprise hire international students for full-time positions?
That's a great question. And it really depends on the position. And what I see is that our data science and data analytics areas are probably the two areas where I see the most hiring of international students, because it is difficult to fill those roles. And so we are open to providing sponsorship. Now, I also can tell you that HomeSite, which is a company that I mentioned at the beginning, they do a lot of hiring of international students. So even if American Family, doesn't have something that you're looking for that would provide sponsorship, I would direct you to HomeSite, because they do hire a lot and provide sponsorship of those international students.
Wonderful, thank you.
You're welcome.
And then our final question is, and you kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, but what opportunities are currently available for recent graduates or December grads?
Yeah, so we have a program that also just started this past summer. It's called our Rotation Development Program, and this is specifically for new grads. So I am looking right now for that December 2020 grad or spring 2021. It's called the Rotation Development Program, and we are hiring 20 new grads into our general business program and 20 into the technology program. And what it is a 2-year program where you're rotating through 4 different areas of the company over that time period of 2 years. It's a fully salaried, very competitive salary position. I kind of want it. And it's an opportunity to be treated just like any full-time employee. You're getting full benefits. You're getting a 401k and a pension and paid time off. The only difference is that you get to try on 4 different careers over that 2 years. It just started, as I said, a couple months ago. Our first group started in July. We started with 20 new graduates, and it's going so well that we're doubling that to 40. But it's a really exceptional program. Certain things that you might see under the technology track would be your data science, your IS, your cybersecurity. And then things that you'd see in the general business track would be finance, sales, claims, HR, marketing. But you can cross tracks, so to speak. So if you're interested in doing a rotation, traditionally in a tech area, you could do that. But we're looking now, and those positions are posted. So definitely check those out.
Wonderful. Oh, we literally just had another question come in.
Sure.
How do we inquire about this new rotation program?
Absolutely. So I am going to just put my contact information in the chat again. So feel free to reach out to me, but I'm also going to put the actual number of the position that you can find when you go to our website. So that's our website. And these are the 2 job numbers that you want to look for. And one is for general business and one is for technology. You could apply for both if you feel like you're qualified for both. They will state what our desired majors are for each of them. So, either apply for both if you wish, or apply for the one that you think most aligns with what you're looking for and what we're looking for.
Wonderful. So I think that's like the perfect place to cut this off. Other than email, Christy, you mentioned earlier about LinkedIn. Would you say that's a good place to connect with you?
Absolutely. Yep. I always accept any student LinkedIn requests for sure. And, if you do apply to the program and you're, have more questions about it, let me know. I am the recruiter for that program. So I know the program inside and out. So I should be able to answer any question, but if I can't, I work very closely with that program manager and I'll definitely get the answer for you.
Wonderful. So on behalf of everyone, I just want to thank American Family Insurance Enterprise with this wonderful information and presentation put forth by Christy Porterfield. It's been a fabulous time, and I feel like we had really good questions
Yeah,
and
for sure.
great responses. Once again, I would like to thank the UW System Career Tracks Planning Committee for this collaboration on this project.